Welcome back to 15 Lens Talk Game Week 32 Review Show. We are going to talk about all the games that happened all over the weekend as we saw Arsenal drop 3 important points in a must-win game against Bournemouth. Liverpool went ahead to humble Fulham at the Anfield as they want to seal their European spot. Manchester City humbled Chelsea at the Stamford Bridge to close the gap to 6 points in the title race with a game in hand. Let's go! Arsenal versus Bournemouth. Arsenal 1, Bournemouth 2. Some of the biggest talking points in this game. Arsenal dropped 3 important points in a must-win game with Manchester City next. Remember, in my preview show on this channel, we mentioned that this is a must-win for Arsenal with Manchester City next, whereby Manchester City have a game in hand. You understand? And we said, Arsenal, this is like their final. They must not make any mistake. But what did they do? They made a mistake. They went ahead to drop points. You understand? In that same game, I mentioned that Arsenal, if you see Arsenal since the Everton game, they don't have an identity. They don't have any urges. They just play, praying for God to produce. You understand? Arsenal right now, if you see in their team, there is no spark. There is no any player who can be like, this is the player who is going to win Arsenal the game. You understand? And this is one of the games whereby Arsenal created something for Victor Gyökeres. Oh, this is the first game where you can criticize Victor Gyökeres. You understand? Arsenal fans who were criticizing him all the season. You understand? This is the game where he got like 3 chances in 1 minute and he failed to produce. On the other hand, also, Arsenal just have one win in their last 4 games. One win in their last 4 games, and that was against Sporting CP. Understand? So the thing is worrying Manchester City next, and that's going to be their important game of the season with Manchester City having a game in hand. Bournemouth have now beaten Arsenal in back-to-back games at the Emirates Stadium. Last season, it ended 2-1, and this season, history repeated itself as Bournemouth secured the second win at the Emirates with hopes of closing the gap of Europe. You understand? Remember, right now, from 6th Chelsea to 15th Newcastle, they are only separated by 6 points. All teams that are there have a chance to qualify for Europe, either Conference League or Europa League. So Bournemouth has closed that gap. You understand? And the only positive for Arsenal in this game, Victor Gyökeres has now reached on 18 goals in this season. You understand? That's really a positive thing for him, as he has had a very bad start at the season, and everything that has gone around in this season, he doesn't get the service he needs. Liverpool versus Fulham. Liverpool 2, Fulham 0 at the Anfield. Some of the biggest talking points in this game. Liverpool are officially back to their winning ways with their first win in the Premier League since February. That was a very special moment at the Anfield. You understand? Because we all know how things are working out right now with Liverpool, how they have struggled this season really bad. You understand? And on the other hand, when last week Arsenal beat Sporting Lisbon, the 50th position for the English Premier League was opened in the Champions League. You understand? So Liverpool with this win against Fulham, who were also aiming for Europe, and also maybe closing the gap on Champions League. Now Liverpool have a chance to secure that spot. Since also on the other hand, Chelsea dropped points. You understand? The way Chelsea fans were happy to drop points because they don't want to see Arsenal win the league. At least they rather be beaten by Man City than seeing Arsenal win the league. So Liverpool have now increased their chance of securing Champions League next season. On the other hand, we also Rio Gamoa, the star of the show against Fulham. You understand? He put in a very strong performance since he was promoted to the first team. He has been putting in those cameos, strong performances here and there. And against Fulham, he scored his second goal of the season. Remember, his first goal came in the second match of the Premier League against Newcastle to give Liverpool a win. And his second goal also came against Fulham. to give Liverpool another win. You understand? And also Mohamed Salah was back on the score sheet for Liverpool to help them see that they can secure all the 3 points and also secure the fifth spot. You understand? Because right now, every man for himself, everyone is next with 6 games to go, no mistakes. Every point counts, every minute counts. You understand? So if you're there and you want your team to lose points, you may end up out of Europe, you may end up relegated, you may end up anywhere you don't want to be at the moment. Chelsea versus Manchester City at the Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 0, Manchester City 3. Some of the biggest talking points in this game. Chelsea just have one win in their last 7 games, with their fan praising Manchester City so that they can make sure and see that Arsenal doesn't win the league. Chelsea fans they just have to know that Chelsea have one win in their last 7 games, plus they have now gone 10 games without beating Manchester City. And on the other hand, if we are a Chelsea fan, go and see your next fixtures. You understand? In your next fixtures, you have Liverpool is there and Manchester United plus other stubborn teams in the last 6 games. So Chelsea, we may see Chelsea ending up in Europa or Conference League or even missing out on Europe. You understand? With all the money they spend, they may miss out on Europe, or they may end up in Conference League again or Europa League. Answer, things are not good at Chelsea Football Club right now with 2 billion spent. Everything is falling apart. Enzo Fernandez will be back in the squad since he was suspended by the board for 2 games. So maybe they will get some hope here and there. That's why in this game we saw Manchester City closing the gap on Arsenal Football Club to 6 points. You understand? With a game in hand. So next week, Manchester City will be taking on Arsenal. That is going to be a final. Arsenal have to show up if they want to win the league. If they don't show up, Manchester City will humble them and close the gap to 3 points with a game in hand, and things won't be looking good for Arsenal in that position. The pressure will be on. And the other thing also, we saw uh, Ryan Chaki was the star of the show in this game with 2 assists. You understand? He has been improving since that Carabao win. He has changed the gears. Manchester City have changed the gears. You understand? And this Manchester City, they are performing, but they are not that of a threat. It's just that the person they are chasing, Arsenal, doesn't have any light. You don't see any light where you don't see where light is coming from in the Arsenal team, as we can see Manchester City. And the man, another star man for this game was Nico O'Reilly, who opened the scoring in this game. He scored his 9th goal of the season against Chelsea. He has been on fire. He has been giving Manchester City everything they want. Right now he's like him and Ryan Chaki are carrying Manchester City. If you are looking for goals, he's there to score. If you are looking to defend, he's there. Ryan Chaki is here to assist. So everything is on the line. Come next week when they take on Arsenal. That will be the biggest game of the season. And this is all because Arsenal never took their chance. This game would have reached and it wouldn't be important as it is this week.